Hey friend, how you doing? Welcome to Soulvine. This is Jamie. Let's check in. Let's see what's going on, how we can support you Pisces right now. Actually, I'm going to do a different deck. I'm going to use the Muse Tarot. Yeah, so what is going on? How are you feeling right now? What's one word if you had to explain how you're feeling right now? You know, are you motivated? Are you focused? Are you transformative? What kind of energy? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to know. All right, Pisces, current energies. Let's see what's going on. Just remember, this is a general read, so it may be specific for some of you. It may open up, you know, some different ways and perspectives to look and think about things. But time changes, energy changes. So currently, you've got 8 of emotions sitting in the current space, current energy. Let's have a look what's crossing this, and then we'll go through it all and connect in. 8 of voices. So we've got 2 8s showing up right now. We've got the temperance energy in your influence. 8 of voices is your current challenge. Past. Impacting. We have the page of emotions. Okay. Let's see what's influencing. 5 of emotions. Got a bit of heavy energy, but I feel like this is kind of alleviating. We've got the 10 of inspiration sitting in your near future. We've got the page of inspiration as your power. The awakening energy, which is judgment energy, sitting in your environment. We've got the queen of inspiration in terms of your hopes and fears. We'll have a look at the outcome. I'll pull out 3 and then we can look and see what this is about. Thank you, Spirit. Got one that's flipped over. One more. Another one flipped over. Okay. Let's jump on in. I was going to say dump on in, jump on in. All right, guys. Okay. If you're new here, welcome. And if you feel connected and want to subscribe, please do. Since I've been back, yeah, we've had quite a lot of new subscribers join us, which is wonderful. And I'm grateful for all of you that are here and reach out and connect in. Now, Pisces, we do have the 8 of emotions sitting in your current energy. So it seems like there is some recognition here about what you want to move away from or moving into a new direction to find some sense of fulfillment here. This seems to be a bit of a theme that we're noticing this week, especially while it hasn't been eight of emotions directly. It's been about what's next for you. And I feel like there's some strong recognition you're not potentially satisfied somewhere, or you're ready to acknowledge and make this move. You do have the 8 of voices, which is the 8 of swords, challenging this or conflicting this. I guess a question to ask Pisces, and only you will know this, are you looking at what is missing, or are you looking what is there? Like when you weigh something up, you know, I think sometimes naturally when there is a sense of loss or, you know, or not feeling fulfilled or finding a void in our lives, sometimes we're looking at everything that isn't versus everything that is. And I feel that's important for someone here, or maybe, you know, a bunch of you here, because you're feeling stuck in something. And it's that one cup, that emotional part, because the emotions are cups. Maybe there's a part of you that wants the courage to move or walk away, but you're feeling stuck right now. where you know that you're just not happy, you know that you're not fulfilled. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you're unhappy. I think there's a difference between feeling satisfied in what you're doing in your life, in where you're going and what you're accomplishing and what you're achieving, right? There's a different energy when you're feeling it, and when you're not feeling it, you also know it. And I think this is something that you're perhaps navigating right now that's showing up here. But I think there's some questions to really sit down and ask yourself. And, you know, sometimes when we look at the pros and cons of a situation or dynamic, it's not just about what we get. It's also about the things that we miss out on. It's also the things that we can achieve or receive through that. It's also, what are those priorities for you right now, you know? And I think that's an important piece, because sitting in your influence is the temperance energy. So there's a couple of parts that come with this temperance energy today that Spirit's asking you to consider here. Recognizing that there is a process to whatever it is that you're building or transforming or that's evolving in your life, right? The temperance energy, what's particularly showing up here, if you can see, is the moon cycles. And when we look at the moon cycles, there's different phases of our life where we will show up or are needed to achieve and accomplish things, you know. So sometimes it's like it's about the creative part, it's about the planning, and then it's about the doing, and then it's about, okay, well, I've done step one, and then you move to the next phase, and then it continues, and then you come to a place where it's like, okay, I've completed this part or this piece or this project, or it's time to really get in and grit in and hustle down. And I feel sometimes that we want things immediate and we want things now, but there is a process to sometimes get there. And I think, again, which way you're choosing to jump into that is going to be, you know, key to wherever that you're heading right now. And I think sometimes too, right, like we've just moved out of this full moon energy, which is a sense of releasing and letting go and acknowledging where you've been. But I sense here, this is also, you know, what do you want to do next? Where do you want to go next with this? In terms of whatever is on your mind and whatever comes up for you right now as you're connecting into this energy. You have a focus right now. You're here for a reason, right? So what is that? Because ultimately, looking at the past, and as we're reflecting here, there's something about the part that has you curious, your why, you know. I think what captures your attention. And the page of emotions, that attention for you, and it's interesting how it's sitting in the gut, okay? And I say the gut, you know, gut instinct. If it's not your gut instinct, it's what gives you that power and that confidence and that drive and motivation to go forward with something, because it catches you on an emotional front. And I think that if we have to reflect on this situation that perhaps has been, you know, you're finding something's missing for you, what is that part? What is that thing, Pisces? I feel like that's something to dive into right now, because again, you're focusing on what's missing, on what you've lost, or what has disappointed you, or perhaps something that maybe you wish you did differently, which is showing up quite, it's here and it's on your mind. So let's see how we're going to push through this, because I feel like right now, I feel like you're kind of on your own journey right now, in a sense of focused on yourself. Maybe a lot of people don't know what you're going through or what you're experiencing. You know, maybe they know to some degree, like the closest around you or whoever that you confide in. But I feel there's also this sense of, you know, I don't think people really know what you've been carrying to get where you are. And even though there's a lot of aspects that have been supported from things, people, situations, or just you giving it to yourself, I feel like you're ready to let this all go, whatever this is for you. And this could be letting go in a sense of maybe the things that you've been doing, trying to keep up, that you recognize, you know, maybe for some of you, you're kind of on this little hamster wheel, or maybe you've been taking on everyone's burdens or everyone's situation. And maybe, like, I guess the question again, do you need to? Are you been trying to fill some form of your own void or some form of your own path and direction by taking on other people's, so you get to a little bit ignore what you're experiencing and truly feeling about your own situation, you know? I feel this is, yeah, just a time where you get to rest. I feel like there's a rest coming in, a rest period, a rest time, which is nice. It actually feels nice. It actually feels like relief. And then you have the page of inspiration showing up in your power. So some, you know, I feel like some news here that gets you a little excited, Pisces. So whatever comes in, there seems to be some exciting energy about it. And it's also allows you to make a clear choice and a clear decision, or puts a position in play that you know what's happening around a certain subject for you, or what's happening around a situation for you. Maybe you're waiting on some news or something to learn that gives you that insight to make that decision, because the judgment energy is showing up here. It's opening something up for you to take your next steps, for you to jump into a new space or a new direction around something here. And this outcome will kind of share more on what that is. Because your hopes and fears, you have a Queen of Inspiration. So, you know, connecting into this, this is more about your goals and your ambition, you know, like what it is that you're doing and what is it that you want to pursue, and how focused are you, and the creative side of you. Are you judging a lot of that right now about yourself, about what you want, about where you're going? Maybe some of you even feel a little bit misunderstood in pursuit of wherever you're going. Like, people may not understand that part of you, of what really drives you, what really motivates you, and what really matters to you. And making this change and redirecting this for yourself, perhaps there's a bit of pressure with this, you know. And maybe you're also looking at what is the right time to take this step, to move this forward. But I feel like naturally you're going to get some insight, some news, something here. But I think you just need to work through whatever that you're feeling right now. Because whatever you're feeling, you're carrying a bit of onus and heaviness with you. And again, what are you reflecting on? What are you looking at? Are you looking at what you have or what you don't have? What you want, what you desire more? Why does it matter? You know, I think you need to kind of unpack things a little bit extra, is what this energy is asking. But also too, you know, in a different aspect, or perhaps a different view, what if you simplified things? What would that look like? Because sometimes we look at something and think it's just going to be easy, and that's wonderful. That's good to have that, you know, positive expression and belief. But then we forget we've got all these steps and all these things to do, right? But then sometimes we just look at it that, oh my God, that's so hard, or that's so many things I've got to do. And then you feel the burden and the pressure, and then that keeps you stuck. So if you took a breath and kind of, you know, worked those two different thought processes together and gave yourself a bit of a guide or guidance, and instead of focusing on what is not there or what's not happening, how do you reinvent that to take whatever this situation is? Because your situation is going to be unique to you. This is a general read, as I've said. So I'm trying to talk in generics, so you can apply it and take it for where this really resonates for you in your life. Maybe it's work, maybe it's a specific relationship, maybe it's your home life, maybe it's your finances, maybe it's dealing with, you know, family members. Whatever this is, maybe this is just about you and your purpose right now, and wanting just to feel different, be different, recover from something that you've been going through, and recover to a place of, you know, you're meeting, again, that satisfaction point where you just proud of yourself. And again, it doesn't mean that you're unhappy. It just may mean that you know that you're allowed to have more and you deserve to have more and you can. And that more can be many different things, you know. More sometimes can be that you want to change in where you live. You want to experience things a little different. You want to add a little bit more zest, a little bit more fun. You want to meet new people. Maybe you want to challenge yourself more, you know, with your career or your skills or your talent. Maybe you want to try that business. I feel like there's a lot of opportunity that you know is available to you. And you look at life, you know that, yeah, we've got day by day, but how many more days do we have? How much more time do we have? You know, what's relevant? What's meaningful? And I feel like this is all part of it. And sometimes that reflection, where we've maybe even we feel we've let ourselves down or let other people down, we can learn, we can take insight. But I feel like, yeah, there's a bit of pressure you're putting on yourself, and it's good when you're putting good pressure to step up, to step in, to accelerate, to have courage. I don't know why this seems like a real interesting pep talk today. Maybe, you know, sometimes we just need that energy, that friend or that insight to witness us to be okay in the choices that we're making, right? So let's have a look at the potential outcome of this situational dynamic, because it does feel quite vast, but it has I feel like there's a very significant core to it, you know? So you've got the Death energy, the Ace of Voices, and the Two of Materials in terms of your outcome. So when I look at this, Pisces, there is something changing. There is something changing, and I feel that's you. I feel there's a version of you that's ready to, it's interesting, the word it's initially giving me is escape. Maybe that's how it's felt for some time. But a part of that process and that working is allowing you to see things clearly on what you want to leave behind and what you want to open up. Maybe, you know, some truths here have given you the clarity that you need to go a certain direction. Maybe for some of you, you're learning about some truth about a relationship or about a certain something in your life right now that when you look on it, it makes sense, right? It makes sense why you've been carrying this heaviness, this sadness, this unfulfillment somewhere in your life, because, you know, sometimes when we're connected to something and we're feeling the energy or we're feeling something and we don't understand why we're feeling it, and we may not even relate it to a person that we're around or to an environment we're around, something of that nature. But you know, your inner core knows, your spirit knows. Maybe someone's been putting a bit of pressure on you, Pisces, too. And it's not seeing the goodness in you. They see what's missing, or they put that on you. But whatever it is, I feel like you're ready just to say no, or ready not to participate in this anymore. And again, it doesn't mean it's been a bad thing. I think you're just ready for something different, and that's what this feels like. You're ready for something different, and you're calling it, and you're calling it clearly. You know something is kind of done, and you know something is ready to open up. And that's what I love about this Death energy, because the Death energy means it's transforming, it's changing. I mean, we can, you know, when you make your morning coffee, whether some of you put a pot in, whether some of you put, you know, your beans, however you make your coffee, your beans, or you have, I don't know what you call it, the other dry stuff. You know, but once you put water with it, it's a different substance. It transforms. So what is it that you need to add that transforms this? Or what is it that you need to take away? This is going to become clear to you. because you can't keep doing, I'm here, I'm there, I'm here, I'm there. I mean, you can, but I feel like Spirit's saying what's been feeling a bit out of whack, what's been feeling a bit out of balance, what you've been acknowledging within yourself, this is going to help, whatever this is. This answer, this news, this direction, this conversation. It's going to help you come back into balance. And balance doesn't mean boring. Balance to everyone is different, you know, what that balance is. It just means that you can give where you give to a point of fulfillment, not giving to a point of constant draining or trying to keep up, or that's taking your breath away, where it's not adding value in the long run. There's a difference between, you know, building stamina, conditioning and strengthening, and then there's a difference of just sucking the life out of you. And you know that, Pisces. But I think there's some acknowledgement here of where it has been draining or lacking, to where you're really okay to make the choices, to be true and honest with yourself, to get to a place of where you really need to give for you. I'm going to leave it there, dear friend. Let me know in the comments below how this connects for you. Much love. Bye.